Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Abimbola Ashonibare and I am so happy to be making this video. This video is basically a get to know me video where I talk to you a little bit about myself, how I got started in my illustration journey, how I started my Bimbo New Studio brand, all that good stuff. So if you're interested in getting to know a little bit about myself, right, please keep on watching, like this video, leave me a comment down below. And if you're not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I promise you, you're going to have so much fun on my channel. But yeah, let's get this video started, right? Okay, hi everybody. Like I said, my name is Abimbola Ashonibare, Bimbo Oni Studio, Bimbo Oni. Yeah. I go by all that. So basically, I started my illustration journey last year, May to be specific. Right. And at that time, I was just a little bit curious as to this particular thing that I see designers do. I am a bit curious about it. I want to learn it, if that makes sense. Because naturally, I'm a creative person. I've been in the creative industry for a while. I've been a professional makeup artist. See, don't worry, when it comes to using my hands, I've done most of it all, right? And then I transitioned into tech fully in 2022. I've been a product designer since 2022 up until this day. So I figured, okay, let me just double into this. And to be very honest, illustration seemed very, very hard. It seemed very, very difficult. Prior to then, I'd never used the pen tool in Figma, right? Like, I'm like, this pen tool, I'm so scared. Anytime I mistakenly touch the pen tool in Figma, you have no idea how scared I get. But then I'm like, okay, will I say I was a bit bored? I was a bit bored. I was at a stage in my life where I was like, I think I wanted to do more or I wanted to do something different, but I just did not know exactly what different meant, if that makes sense. So I reached out to my mentor. That's Dev and Design. You guys definitely check out Dev and Design if you're interested in learning design, coding, how to use AI in your design process, all that. So I reached out to him. I'm like, okay, please, this illustration thing that you're teaching, me, I'm interested, though, right? But it was like, oh, it wasn't the one teaching illustration. So I was like, okay, let me just register for design again because I started my design journey, my tech journey, majorly in Dev and Design, right? So I paid for the course specifically because of illustration, right? But then we got taught illustration for 2 days, but for 2 days, right? The first class, right, of me learning illustration was just more like, okay, introduction to the pen tool. So immediately I understood, oh, okay, this is what you're using the pen tool for. Every single thing that I've learned from last year, May, up until now, I've learned it by myself. Since that day, I don't think I've dropped the pen tool. I'm like, I'm no longer doing illustration. I genuinely love it. But yeah, that was how I started last year, me, to be very honest. I started out of curiosity. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And then I started self learning myself, right? And one of the things that helped me, which I actually tell my student a lot, is document in public. And that was a mistake I made when I started my tech journey in 2022. I was very reserved. I was like, nobody really needs to know that I do design or I do this, I do that. So long as, like, I have a job and all of that, I'm good. But yeah, please don't make that mistake. Document, because you could be making so much more just because you're documenting your process online. And that was what happened with me. I did not know that I was going to make a career out of this illustration of a thing. I was just doing it because I really liked it. And I wanted to show it to the world that, this thing I stumbled upon, I found out that I'm really good at it. I've been able to dissect it, right? But one of the problems that I faced was because of was one of the problems that I faced was that I don't draw traditionally, right? So almost everybody that I reached out to in the industry, they all had traditional drawing skills, and I'm like, okay, how can I go about getting references to illustrate? Because I have so many of these ideas. That I'm like, okay, I want to illustrate so many things, but then I need a source of reference, and everybody's like, oh, you need to be able to draw the reference or you get a reference and then draw it. And I'm like, this is not answering my question, right? I reached out to even the facilitator that taught back then. I was like, oh, how do you get reference? And most of the responses I'm getting is like, oh, you just use existing references on Behance. And I'm like, no, I don't want existing references. I'm talking about how do I transition the ideas I have in my head, right? how do I transition that into a reference that I can now illustrate? And nobody could answer my question, at least to the answer that I was looking for. So it was a mission for myself. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to figure this thing out, and I'm going to get really, really good at it that everybody's going to notice me. That was it. And I didn't care. I didn't care if people were liking my stuff. I didn't care if I was going viral. I just wanted to document my process, my journey on social media. And when I'm talking about social media, I was documenting on Twitter and LinkedIn mostly, right? So I started doing a lot of research. I started researching heavily. I started using AI in a way that I did not know that I could use AI, right? I was using ChatGPT a lot, and I wasn't using it in a way that every other person they were using it. I was using it in a very, very strategic way. One thing that a lot of people fail to realize is that AI is still a tool. It's a tool, just like the way Figma is a tool, Google Documents is a tool. They are tools that you use, right? They don't use you. You don't leave a lot of things to AI to be like, oh, AI should be the one to decide all that. No, you use it in a very, very strategic way. So all that practice, all that things I was doing, it was shaping my mind. I was I was making mistakes. I was figuring it out by myself. I was like, oh, okay, this is how to go about prompting. This is how to communicate your idea. This is how to go about it. And little by little, I was testing myself. I was pushing myself, and I was getting better. Right. So from May till I think November thereabout, I got really, really good. Really, really, really good. To the point that my capstone project in Dev and Design, it was a mobile application, a gamified mobile application. I was so angry when I got that because I wanted to work on a web application that had nothing to do with illustration. But that was a blessing in disguise because I was a team lead for that project, and the amount of illustrations that I had to do and the amount of illustrations that I also gave my team, it was really good. And I realized that I was also good at teaching and explaining illustration because one thing I've also realized is that everybody is capable. We are all capable of doing something good. We're all capable of using this pencil, using that. Some people might just be faster at understanding than others, but I promise you, you just need somebody to hold your hands, explain it to you in a term that you can easily understand. And I realized that I was actually good at it because I was already explaining to like my other colleagues in dev and design. I was putting them through, and I was like, oh, okay, I actually really know how to explain this thing. And a lot of them found it really helpful because like they didn't really get the explanation that we were being taught. So I was like, oh, okay, this is nice, right? So I spoke to my mentor. I was like, okay, I would actually like to sell a course on illustration because I promise you, there are so many courses, right, online. There was one course that my uncle bought for me on illustration because he wanted me to teach him illustration as well. He bought the course for me, and then after going through the course, I'm like, this is not it. This doesn't address a lot of things that I feel like beginners are struggling with, especially beginners that have no traditional drawing skills. And I'm of the opinion that, see, I'm not calling myself an artist, right? I'm not trying to, I'm an illustrator, I'm a digital illustrator. There's a difference between traditional artists and what I do. I'm not trying to come and take anybody's spot and be like, oh, yeah, traditional artists are not necessary. No, I'm not doing that. But then there should also still be a space at the table for people that really want to do illustrations. It can even be that you want to create illustrations for like your design projects or just for creating sake. You shouldn't be told no, you cannot do that. And I figured out that, right, I just needed to craft a table for myself and build my own community because if there's no space for me at the existing tables, right, because of, oh yeah, I cannot draw traditionally, I might as well start something for myself by myself. And it worked. It worked, right? But then this was not the plan. The plan was to create a pre-recorded course and sell it. That was it. So I already did my course outline. My mentor approved my course outline, every single thing. But then something changed, which was my mentor invited me to come and teach a 2 days webinar, right? 2 days webinar, 2 days class. What do they call that? You shall understand what I'm saying. They invited me to come and teach the next cohort, and that completely changed my life. I taught them for 2 days and they blew me up. My Twitter, my LinkedIn, I was, for someone that doesn't really like a lot of attention, that was a lot of attention for me. But it was a good kind of attention, if that makes sense, because it's kind of solidified what I knew that, oh, yes, I am really good at this, but then seeing it from other people's point of view, seeing all the reviews that people are like, oh my God, thank you so much. The reviews were a lot. The reviews were life changing, right? And then everybody's like, okay, just in 2 days, this was what she was able to teach. What will now happen if this person decides to host a class? And that was when I was like, okay, you know what? Instead of doing a pre-recorded course, how about I actually set up something like a boot camp, right? I spoke to my mentor again about it, spoke to my friends. Everybody was like, Bimbo, you can do this, all of all that. And I'm like, okay, I can do this, right? But then I didn't just want to rush into doing it. Everybody wanted me to do the course in December so that I could sell out. But I was like, no, I like when things are structured. I like when things are organized. I like when things are like properly planned, right? So I set to do all of all that. So in December, I registered the company. I started crafting my new curriculum, started crafting everything, paid for Google Workspace, paid for a domain. I wanted everything to be sorted out. I wanted to seem like a serious brand, if that makes sense. And that worked, right? My first cohort was amazing, right? It was the amount of love that I got shown till today. I'm still wondering how that happened. Like people did like sponsored classes, like they sponsored. I had someone that sponsored 2 people, somebody sponsored 5 people, somebody sponsored 10 people, and then I'm like, oh wow, then a lot of students came from dev and design. I had students from different countries. I had students from Canada, UK, US, France, India. I'm like, what is going on? But it was really good. It was a 4 weeks class, but then it was amazing. 4 weeks class, which eventually turns into like 2 to 2.5 months because you have to give time for assignments and students have to do capstone project, all that. And one thing I can tell you is that if you've attended my class or you plan to attend my bootcamp, I promise you, you are going to get more value for your money because I've gone through what you are going through. I've gone through every single thing that you're going through. I understand what you're feeling. I'm not just going to teach you how to illustrate, or I don't just teach people how to use the pencil. I'm going to teach you how to develop your ideas, how to effectively use AI, how to come up with your original ideas, how to break down clients' briefs, so that after my class, you can take on any project. And I mean any project. If somebody approaches you that, oh, we want to do an illustration set for a perfume campaign, and they give you the brief. My students, they can break down the brief, they know how to go about it, they understand what to do, they understand how to come up with references, how to make sure that the references, the characters, or whatever it is, they are consistent. That's one thing I am so proud of. That I didn't just teach them how to use the pencil, I taught them the business side of it, the thinking side of it. And yeah. So far, I've been able to teach 90 students. Another thing, I also got a personal student. Like, I was like, what's going on? I got a personal student and it was really, really amazing. So far, I've done 2 cohorts, right? Cohort 2 really, really enjoyed because I kept it small because I had other commitments. But they enjoyed more than cohort 1 because we had so many other like new updates and every single thing going on. So they really enjoyed. And right now, my cohort 2, they're having their project demo day this weekend. So hopefully you come and join us here. But yeah, it's been amazing. That was how I started the brand. That was literally it. It wasn't a pre-planned thing. It was just something that happened like, okay, yeah, let me try this thing. Let me see if I can get good at this thing. And it happened. And I'm currently planning the third course. The third course is starting on the 26th of June. It's a vector illustration class with brand identity design. This is going to be one of the best sets ever because I'm not just teaching illustration. I'm bringing in a guest tutor that is going to teach you branding. And I'm talking about how to create logos for brands, how to create brand patterns, typography. Like, if you want to be a brand designer and you also want to learn illustration, I promise you, this is the course for you. Right. So, yeah, that's how I got started in illustration. I did my 1 year anniversary last year, and I'm so, so grateful. Like, I'm genuinely grateful. It completely changed my life in ways like, it feels so good being able to impact knowledge. Like, I get really, really happy when my students, like, they're getting it, they're doing their assignments, they're doing it really well. Like, I am so happy because it's like the sky is so big for everybody to win. We can all win. We can all be in the same field, and we are all winning equally. That is my goal. That is it. That is what I want. But yeah, That's how I got started. So let's talk a little bit about me. You can obviously tell that my favorite color is pink, but I have three favorite colors actually. One of them is green, pink, and red. Those are my colors. Like, yeah. But my brand is pink. hmm At first, I thought people were going to not really like it, but they actually do, and they've adjusted. They've adjusted to the pink thing. But I really like pink. I really like green, and I really like red. Those are my colors. Yeah. What else? What else? What else? Yeah, like I said, I'm a product designer, and I'm currently dabbling in vibe coding as well. So if you want to learn how to vibe code, please reach out to Deb and Design. I promise you value for your money, right? I've vibe coded my website, bimbonistudio.com, and it is amazing. I'm also vibe coding other products as well. So yeah. Yeah. What else do you want to know about me? Okay, we can probably food. When it comes to food, I really like specific foods, right? I really like amala a lot. I really like amala a lot. Like that is one of my comfort food, right? I like plantain a lot. I like I think rice. Everybody likes rice. Everybody likes rice. Everybody likes rice. I like rice a lot. Plantain. I think I like noodles a lot as well. I like creamy pasta. I think that's really about it, to be very honest. What else do you people want to know about me? I wouldn't say I'm a shy person. I'm quite outspoken, right? But then naturally, is like I would prefer not to even say anything. If that makes sense. I don't really make friends like that, but I've realized that I actually had friendship, right? And one of the beautiful things that I've been able to make really, really good friends from last year up until now that I am really grateful for these friends. A lot of my friends supported me. Like I can't even begin to imagine what I would have done without my friends when I started my brand. They really supported me. Like most of my students now are my friends now. Like we're really cool. But yeah, I think that's about it. If there's anything else you'd like to know about me, I mean, drop it in the comments. If it's something I'm going to tell you, I will tell you, right? But yeah, if you are interested in learning illustration, right, I promise you, I am the right person to teach you. If you have no drawing skills, like you cannot draw traditionally, you don't have to do that, but you still want to learn illustration, right? Come to Bimbo Oni Studio. Just come to Bimbo Oni Studio. But yeah, that's everything I think I wanted to talk about. I'm definitely going to be getting more comfortable shooting videos and putting out videos and tutorials. Please, I'm going to be shooting a lot of tutorials for you. So yeah, it was really nice talking to you guys. I'm definitely going to see you in my next video. Bye.